Hey everyone! Welcome back! I am back today with more of my Steel Ball Run manga review, you guys. I am very, very excited to be checking out chapter 6 through 10 today. I don't know if in the future I'm going to be checking out more than 5 chapters. I kind of want to, and this was sort of the batch that made me think, like, I probably could cover a little bit more than this. Like, now that we're actually getting into, like, you know, like, I'll get into it. So before I say anything, I do just want to say if you're joining me early today, you know just what that means. It means you are one of my awesome patrons. Thank you so very much. And as always, I'm sending up those big old hugs right through that screen. And if not, still, thank you for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. I do hope you'll consider supporting me that way. The link to my Patreon is going to be in that description down below. And if you're joining me on the YouTubes, I hope you'll hit like, subscribe for me. It helps my channel a whole lot. Thank you in advance for that. All right, so picking up where we left off last time, first of all, I want to say thank you guys so much for the feedback on my first ever manga review ever, and also for Steel Ball Run. I did get a lot out of your guys' feedback, and I'm going to try to... I don't know how this is going to go on YouTube because I, honest to God, like, have no idea how copyright for manga pages works, like, on YouTube. But initially, I'm going to try to leave the screenshots up a little bit longer. So I know, like, when I'm editing videos, you can only show them for so long at a time, and then you have to kind of, like, cut to blank. But I'm gonna see what I could do. I'll see what I could do with screenshots. And I am gonna try to describe a little bit more. So I'm started taking better notes. My notes at first were just literally just like something would happen and I'd be like, haha, blah, blah, blah. And like, but it didn't really tell you what was going on. So that's kind of what I was working with last time. This time, like, I went through and I read chapter 6 through 10 again last night, took my screenshots and made my notes. And I did try to make them more, not like detailed, but like instead of just giving you like how I feel, like actually describe to you what was happening. Because if you haven't read it in a while or you've never read it, then you're going to be like, huh? So, all right, so here we go. Chapter 6. I just had to get out there. I didn't really mention this last time, but I just kind of have to laugh a little bit about the fact that Johnny, who is supposed to be Jonathan, is now American, but they left Dio British. Like, he's like this British horse racing star. And I'm just like, okay, sure. But yeah, he's Diego, but they call him interchangeably like Diego and Dio because Dio is his not like stage name, but I don't know. It's like it's on his hat. It's kind of like his nickname, I guess. All right. So Gyro is still trying to get this time bonus, right? And Diego starts closing in on him. Now, here's what I was talking about last time. And I'm like, I put after when I was editing the video, like, oh, I got a little ahead of myself. This is from the next chapter. This is where Diego really started to impress me with, like, the big brain stuff, okay? Because what Diego does is he figures out Gyro's horse's habits. Like, he studies the horse and he figures out, like, almost kind of like a towel, but it's not exactly like a towel. So what he figures out is when the horse breathes exactly 8 times, it sways just a little bit to the left, and then it slows down while it's doing that. So what Diego does, is he only accelerates him and his horse during this like little lag time. And so he's not tiring out his horse unnecessarily, which I just thought that's really, really genius. And it really goes to show, like, he's just like, he's super strategic, very smart, would expect nothing less. But yeah, Gyro didn't really know that his horse had this habit. And this is why I say, like, I'm not saying that Gyro isn't strategic in his own way. Like, he's very, like, you could tell he really knows what he's doing. But I kind of get the idea. And I'm not sure if maybe I'm wrong on this or if maybe this will be confirmed or, like, I don't know, like, at a later date. But I get the feeling he kind of works more on gut feeling, instinct, you know. But I could be wrong about that. So Gyro is figuring out what Diego is figuring out about the horse as he's figuring it out. Johnny is hanging back pretty close behind kind of speedwagoning this whole thing, just sort of narrating it and kind of like making sense of it for the reader as he is making sense of it in his head. So that's what's going on. So Gyro uses, is there a name for the balls? Because I like, my window's wide open. I don't know how I feel about talking about a man and his balls. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. Clue me in. I know it's a little bit of a spoiler, but like, clue me in. Is there a name for the balls, or we just call them balls? Because I don't know. I don't know how I feel about just saying that casually all the time. He uses a ball on the horse. And what it does, Johnny refers to this as it pulls out the horse's habits. So what Gyro basically does, he uses a ball and he's like, okay, you got a habit? I want you to lean into it. I want you to go crazy with it. I'm not going to try to change it. I want you to like lean into that. And so it like accentuates / exaggerates the habits so that like Gyro can kind of use that to his advantage in the situation. And what ends up happening is the horse gets really angry. Horse kind of freaks out and wrecks, and doesn't wreck itself, but wrecks like this bridge. They're like on a like a little wood bridge, and Gyro charges through the wreckage, or before it gets totally wrecked. I don't know. It was unclear. But he gets ahead. Diego is left behind with the wreckage in front of him. So yeah. So basically I'm just going on and on about how Diego's smart. He did a great job of reading the situation with Gyro's horse, but Gyro did, this is what I said last time. He really almost kind of didn't need to do that in order to know like what he had to do with his It sounds worse when I say it under my breath, does it not? Like it's worse. Love of the horse got angry and just wrecked. So I mentioned Pocoloco last time. And Pocoloco is this character who has been in touch with an AU version of Anyaba. Like, it looks just like her, so I'm pretty sure that's what it's supposed to be. The timing doesn't work, but don't worry about it. I've already been told, by the way, somebody made my day with this. I've already been told that, like, these are versions of the characters, but they're not going to be like, oh, it's literally like this is the carbon copy of Will Zeppeli in this universe. It's just kind of like they're there, they have a connection, they have the names, and they'll have elements maybe of the characters, but like they're very much like not like, it's not like a mirror universe thing. I think I was thinking it might be like a mirror universe. And it's not a mirror universe, just another universe. You know, have you ever seen like Star Trek episodes where they do the mirror universe and like everyone's got a goatee and this is like their evil version? Yeah, no, it's not like that. No goatees. Anyway, somebody made my day by telling me that Gyro is like a combination of Joseph and Caesar. Dead. Immediate death. I died happy. But yeah, it's so true. It's so, like, I was kind of thinking it, and I'm like, no, I'm just reading Joseph into everybody because I'm in love with Joseph. But no, I think it's accurate. Like, apparently it's not just me. Where was I don't know what I was doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I think that's obvious by now. Oh, Pocoloco. Okay, so he has this, like, luck thing. He's, like, he was told by Anyaba, like, you're gonna have the best luck of your life. No one can take you down for, like, 2 months. And he actually misses the start of the race and ends up still managing to, like, get on track. Like, it's, like, all this ridiculous stuff is happening just to make everything fall into place for him. Like, he misses the start of the race, but the trampling of the horses that went ahead of him makes the ground more favorable for him. Just, like, all this, like, crazy stuff. And it just gets wackier. Like, just wait. All right, Chapter 7. The car wagon that looks like a wagon, but it's, like, an early version of a car. They're out. They found out they didn't have enough gas or something, and they're out. So, I don't know. I just put lol. I'm like, okay, I guess it's worth mentioning. So, yeah. Okay, Pocoloco. We do this whole weird scene. My notes here on Hinge, by the way. I have, like, boob scene, lol. Because there's just one, I don't even know what to make of this. This is just one of those things that I'm like, this is the thing that happened. I don't even really know what the point was. There's this whole scene where, like, he's catching up, right, in the race, Pocoloco. And there's this whole thing with manure, and manure's flying, and he gets some in his mouth, and there's, like, a coin in it, so he gets, like, a coin, but then it gets on somebody else. It gets on other people, and there's just like this woman that's just like, you just see cleavage, and he's like, he just makes this fat. I don't know what it is with just like men making faces about inappropriate things in this, but it's like a whole thing. It's like a whole subgenre, because we had Johnny last time with the girls doing his like, yeah, and now we have this. So this it's just a whole thing. Just I don't even know. I don't know. There's probably some point to it. For me, it was just like, this is a thing that occurred. I will say, for those of you who've read it, you know this. I feel like I either had it in my notes for last time and I missed it, or I don't know. But just as a heads up, just be aware. I don't know if it's trying to be relevant to the time period, because of course we are in the 1800s in America, which, yes, enough said. But, or if it's like the translation, or if it's both. But just be aware, there's like some outdated like terms used in this, you know? There's some outdated like names that I haven't seen anything like a slur or anything, but like there are some outdated terms for groups used in this, you know? So just be aware of that. If you haven't read it and you're thinking about reading it yourself, or you're noticing when I put up these screenshots, because they're probably in there too. Yeah, just be aware. Outdated terms, not up-to-date terms for groups of people being used. But yes, so remember how I told you last time that as a runner, when I read about like Sandman's technique, it like blew my mind? Oh my God. I don't even have it. See, I should have written down like what it is exactly. Do I have it written down what he does? Shoot, I should have written that down. All right, I'll try to like summarize it to you. I don't know. It's going to be really bad summary. I should have written it down. I'm sorry. Maybe it's on, you know what it is? I think it's on the screenshot that I'm going to put up. That's why. Hopefully. I hope so. Otherwise, it's probably, you know, you're not going to understand anything about this. But his running technique is amazing. So I told you he is running this race. Like other people are using horses. We had a car. We had a camel. He's running. And what he's doing is he's doing it so that like his, you know what? I'm going to describe it wrong. But basically it's this technique so that the impact is lessened. Like he's almost kind of like not really landing on his feet completely. And he's sort of like keeping up a momentum this way and like not, and he's able to like be way more efficient, like run like crazy fast. Like even for a runner, it's like unthinkable. And so, yes, so full explanation hopefully coming soon, because I don't remember what I was screenshotting last night at like midnight in bed, but hopefully it's in there. So yeah, the full explanation will be, okay, so I think I said this before, but Johnny, he's in this because of Gyro. He wants to know about like the and But in this one, I thought this was worth pointing out. He says that he wants to beat Gyro to kind of like get his attention and kind of prove that, like, you know, it kind of proves something to him, you know, like if you can prove you're sort of like worthy in this way, then like you can get him to, yeah, open up to you about that. So Gyro goes off into this like big forest that they're calling like the forest, like big ominous forest. It's a shortcut. People start to follow him, and Pocoloco is so confident that he actually closes his eyes and starts to enter the follows it, but has his eyes closed. And even Johnny is looking at this like, is this confidence or what? Like, I don't even know what this is. I had written here, is it his confidence in his luck, or is it actually his luck? Is it like one of those, is it like a placebo thing where like he believes he's so lucky that it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy? There is more coming on that later. Chapters 8, 9, and 10 were very like, I guess, yeah, action heavy. So I just kind of combined them. So this is chapters 8, 9, and 10, right? Now I will just preface this by saying, there is one thing that hit me like a ton of bricks, like between my last review and now, that I was just like, oh my God. I had not thought about that. I know that we're not done with, like, stands. Like, I just, if for the rest of for parts 7, 8, 9. Like, I know there will be a stand again just by, like, existing in a world where I like JoJo's, and, like, I'm already aware that, like, there will be a stand again. But I have to tell you, reading this far into part 7, up to this point, there has really not been anything involving stands. Because we have the balls. But you guys told me in the comments, like, that's not Hamon. It's not really exactly a stand. But, like, nobody else has shown a stand yet up to this point. So if you're just reading this, and I'm told that, like, when it first came out, too, it wasn't even called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It was just called Steel Ball Run. You're reading this, and there's no stands, and it's not called JoJo's. I think it's possible, like, a lot of people, and this is kind of what I'm hearing too, is a lot of people just sort of thought this was, like, a totally different thing. Like, he had nods, like, oh, I found out something. This is I don't know why anyone would do it this way, but I know sometimes this happens where you may be interested in part 7, or you may have read part 7, but you haven't seen other parts, or you skipped some parts, perhaps. So if you've not seen part 6, and you don't want to know about the twist ending of part 6, please skip ahead like a minute. But one example is Irene at the end of part 6. That's actually a nod to one of Araki's other works called Gorgeous Irene, which I love. Like, it made sense anyway that it was her name. Like, it was just a little different than her name. And it was really clever, but it was a nod to his other work, right? So I think it's very possible that you would just maybe think that this was like a nod to JoJo's, like he used some JoJo's names, but like literally everything else about it is different. Like even like the balls. I just need to close my window. It's so nice out. It would be an actual crime. Like I would be arrested if I shut my window right now. I cannot shut my window, but just know that that's what I'm saying under my breath. Yeah, I think that I had to like collect myself for a minute there. I think that you would actually probably think that maybe like this is not JoJo's anymore, because the Gyro's ability is not really, I guess. So, that being said, chapters 8, 9, and 10. So Pocoloco keeps looking like his luck is going to run out, but then it doesn't. He even falls off his horse, but his horse drags him through an area, and it like ends up being better because he wouldn't have been able to fit through the area that the horse drags him through if he hadn't been off of the horse. So like everything works for his good. It's really amazing. He closes in on Gyro, but Gyro uses a ball to split a tree and charge through the cleared out area. And then Pocoloco gets like knocked back onto it. Like, just think about this for a second. You are being dragged behind your horse, and all of a sudden you are somehow, a collision occurs that flails you upward back onto it's just like, it's getting ridiculous. And this is where I was like, last chapter I was like, is it really luck? Or does he just kind of think he's lucky and he's just making decisions that blah, 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 blah? Because really up to this point, it was not clear. It was like, oh my God, is this just like the power of the mind? Like it worked or what? So this is where we see, and even here, I'm like, okay, this is definitely what this is. But like I said, if you really didn't know, you might think it was just a new power structure. But we see what's essentially like a stand up here with Pocoloco. And it's about luck. And it's a luck stand. I don't know the specifics yet, but it's like he can't lose. And like the stand shows up and it's like, mind the cow. And I'm like, what? And even last night, knowing what was going to happen, I'm like, wait, was there a cow? What? Have we already seen the cow? No. He falls, and he manages to ride the skeleton of a cow that happened to be on the ground nearby. And that's why Sam popped up and was like, remember the cow. Like, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous at this point. But he definitely has a luck stand. And I gotta say, a luck stand? So, the first thing I thought of was, apparently everybody hates this, but do you remember the dragon? Do you remember? Again, I'm mentioning part 6. We've not seen part 6. Do you remember that one that everyone hated with the feng shui and the dragon? I mean, that wasn't luck, but it was sort of like you're orienting things around you to kind of provide the best outcome, is how I took it. This just, I mean, we're just not, it's just pure, like, stupid luck. It worked. That's the only way to describe it, okay? Gyro says this amazing line, and he just says it with a, like, I don't know, I picture him just, like, saying it with a totally straight face, like, not even being, like, cheeky about it, and there's just something about, like, picturing him, like, deadpan, like, saying this to a person. I'll put it up on the screen. It's so freaking funny. And even, like, he tries to stop Pocoloco with, like, a rock, and that doesn't, like, he's, like, things are just, like, not bouncing off of Pocoloco literally, but it's, like, anything kind of, like, trying to target him, he just has, like, a shield around him. I don't know. He doesn't literally, I don't think, but it's like he does. Okay. Oh, I literally had Sandman's running technique written down here with details. So I guess maybe they hadn't told about it yet in chapter 7, and that's why it's in. So forget that. It happens in one of these other chapters. Okay. Here's the running technique. He's never quite landing on the heel. He recycles the momentum that would have come from landing, I guess. And instead of tiring it, and it doesn't tire out the legs and the feet. And he can go like 40 kilometers an hour, which is, yeah, pretty crazy. Speaking of pretty crazy, Diego uses air pressure around his horse to keep ahead. Like actual, like, I think I have a screenshot. I don't know. I can't remember. But it's like an air, it's like, he uses air pressure to do it. Like everyone's just thinking on like a whole other level, you know? Santana gets mentioned. That just literally just mentioned the name. I don't think it has any real big indications or context or anything like that, but yeah. So Johnny gets ahead of Dio and Gyro Johnny manages to get ahead of Diego and Gyro. And then it ends with Pocoloco's kind of like challenging Gyro. And that's how we end chapter 10. So this actually, okay, I'm looking at my time here and I'm like, I feel like I could probably do more chapters than this. Because my last one was just like, it's always going to be longer because like this is the introduction to a world. Now that we're in the story, like I feel like, how do you guys feel about, do you want me to keep these like at around the 20-minute mark? Is that a good like bite chomp size for this kind of content? Or do you want me to try for 10 chapters and it'll be more like, I'm assuming like maybe like a 40-45 minute, you know? Because the thing is, if I do 5 chapters a week, it's going to take me about 16 weeks, which totally, like, we're not in a rush. We're in no rush. But if I do like 10 chapters a week, you know, and it's like 90 chapters, we're cutting it down to just like, now it's just going to be like a couple months, you know, and then I'm down to go on part 8 if you guys, I'm already getting pumped for part 8. I'm already getting pumped for part 8. So let me know. Do you want me to, or do you want me to gauge it? You know, do you want me to like, okay, chapters 11 through 20 were, holy cow, like super dense. So maybe let's just do like 11, 15. But you know, 16 through 25 is a little bit more, you know, because that's kind of like what I feel like happened here. Like there was a lot going on in these 5 chapters, but it wasn't so much like world building and establishment and so much that like, yeah, you know. So alright guys, that's what I got for you this week. For Steel Ball Run, I'm loving it. I already have a Steel Ball Run shirt in my cart. I just need money and then I'll be ordering it. Oh, do I have Jojo merch? You know, I'll just get a picture and put it on screen because I don't even know what I got. I think I got some of the, I'm going just absolutely bonkers right now for these little, go to like Hot Topic and a couple other stores, have them, Google them, and see if there's a store in your area that sells them if you can get them online. They're like these little mystery bags, and they had them for part 3, and I got a couple, which you've probably seen. And then they have a ton for part 5 right now. When the part 4 mystery bags come out, I just need you to understand that like I will be completely negative in the red on all my monies, because when the part 4 ones come out, I'm getting them by like the dozens, plural. Like I'll be ordering 24 to 36 at a time. I will not mess around. But the part 5 ones are very plentiful, and I did grab a few of those, and I'll just put a picture of them up here. I don't want to get up and yeah. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed hearing about chapter 6 through 10 with me. I'm very excited. I haven't read anymore, so I need to get on that, and I need to see what's going to happen next. This whole like forest shortcut thing and in the malls and all that. Oh, here comes Buffy. Buffy's telling me it's lunchtime. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Please, I have no idea what's coming in this, but I have a feeling it's going to be quite bizarre. So I'm definitely going to need your help. So please be sure to join me next time, and we will watch it. Oh, I'm sorry, that was wrong. We won't watch it. We'll read it or experience it. What did I say last time? I don't remember. Read it? We will read it together. Bye for now, guys.